Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a warm welcome to the Voice of the Cape's online Matric revision program. And yes, I'm Konita Kamar. Usually we have my colleague Amir Adams facilitating these sessions, but I am standing in for him today. And just remember that you can also follow the Voice of the Cape, like and share with all our grade 12s preparing for the upcoming preliminary examinations as well as the end of year. These are free sessions, and the program is proudly sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute, an accredited online platform where you can become a primary or a high school teacher by studying in the privacy of your own home. You can visit www.togi.ac.za or call 021 8297015. And obviously, if you want to just refer to that information, you can just check out the rolling credits at the bottom in terms of just getting that details. But let me introduce our facilitator for today. And she is no stranger to the VC Matric Review program, a regular facilitator for the past few years now, and that's none other than Mrs. Fatima Adamson, who is also a facilitator at the Futures Essay Online Academy, and then also she marks for the National Senior Certificate and the Senior Certificate. She marks those examination papers. So she's the perfect candidate for the series, and the topic being religion studies. Assalamu alaikum, Fatima. Welcome back.
Walaikum salam, Juanita. Shukran so much. It's like the year just goes by so
Yeah,
quickly.
it feels like yesterday when we actually facilitated these sessions, but it's a new year, it's 2024, and I
Alhamdulillah, yes.
know the nerves and the stress is mounting for our grade 12s. A lot of
No,
work has to go
definitely.
into prepare, and your subject is as important as all the other subjects. So, to give us an
Definitely.
overview of what learners can expect in today's session before you proceed.
Okay, so today I'm just going to look at paper one, which is coming on the 1st of November 2024. So, matriculants, you should have gotten your exam timetable. It is a session in the afternoon from 2 till 4. And so, I'll be looking at the breakdown for paper one, how to approach preparing for this paper, and what are some of the tips that matriculants will need in order to excel in it as well.
Wonderful. So, without further ado, I now hand over to you to proceed and take our learners through the lesson. Bismillah.
شكرا so much Qanita. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all the viewers, matriculants. The time has come whereby we need to prepare for our final exams, but also our trial exams, which should come at the end of August or early September. And so yes, the nerves are there. However, I do think that this program is going to be one that is going to be beneficial for you in preparation for your exams. And so I want to start off by saying that again, we should not take for granted that this is a content subject and that a preparation can be or preparation for it shouldn't be of utmost importance. I think that the subject has a great value in assisting in achieving that bachelor's pass, and so let's prepare for it adequately. And it is a subject that is a potential distinction subject. And so today we are going to be revising on what to look out for and what to prepare for in paper one, which is our first paper in religion studies. 150 marks, 2-hour paper in second session, and so we need to prepare for that stretch as well. Okay, and so grade 12's very important is going to be your exam guidelines, right? And so your exam guidelines, you can just Google religion studies exam guidelines, WCED, and it will come up. And this exam guidelines is going to give you an idea of what should be expected in a paper one. And so in this question paper, learners are required to answer 3 questions, one compulsory question, which is comprised of short questions of 50 marks. And so we as educators, we always say this is where you're going to achieve your 40 plus marks, because in the other section B, we are going to have an option of choosing 2 questions out of 3 or 4 options. And so your section A, which in your paper one is your compulsory question. Here we need to know how to answer one word and short paragraphs. We also need to have an understanding of how to answer short explanations and brief descriptions of concepts. Your concepts is going to be vitally important in this particular section, right? And so, like I say to my grade 12s, very important to have a bank of concepts within all of the topics that we find in the religion studies curriculum. Adding to that, with this document, the other document that is going to be of utmost importance to you is the annual teaching plan. And in the annual teaching plan, you will see all the topics broken down from term 1 to term 3, whereby you will be able to understand what is expected in those papers as well, and what are the topics that we deal with in religion studies. But I will also touch on those briefly, okay? And so in section A, you're going to have your one-word answers, your true and false questions with reasons. And here, let me just emphasize, sometimes our learners just, if it's true, you get the 2 marks. However, when it's false, we want you to give an answer or correct it. And this is where learners lose their marks as well. And so if it's false, you need to give the correct definition in order to make that true. And so in order to be afforded the 2 marks, matching the items, and then also your multiple choice questions over there, right? Section B is going to be your optional questions here, right? And so you have to answer 2 out of 3 or 4 questions, right? And these questions are going to interrogate certain ranges of sources. We find that texts are found in section B, certain maps and graphs, and this also can include comparative questions as well. And so it can range from short responses to paragraphs as well. And so with section B, the following topics as per the exam guidelines will be assessed, right? And so you can expect that the questions will involve these particular topics. And so again, it makes it quite clear for us in what to study. I must also say that in section A, what I what I omitted there was that section A is going to deal with all the content, right? So anything can come up. So here you have to have a strong basis of your knowledge within religion studies in order to adequately prepare for it. In section A as well, in order to prepare for it, I would encourage that you do go and practice 10, I think maximum 10, but if you can do more, 10 section A's from past papers. And you can Google religion studies past papers, and you'll get two main websites that will come up, the News 24 one and also the SA SAM papers. And there you will find most recent papers and also older question papers as well. And so in order to prepare for section A, the multiple choice, the match the column, to get a gauge of what they ask, I would advise that you go and practice those section A's for at least 10 question papers, okay? And then section B, these particular topics will be assessed. And so usually we find that question 2 in the paper is going to look at your topics with regards to your conceptual distinction. So we find that there are many question 2s which are going to be involved with the understanding of certain concepts. And so identity, uniqueness in the context of religion studies, unity, similarity, difference and also compatibility. However, others can come up. These are just examples that they have placed in the exam guidelines, right? Your uniqueness of various religions will also come up in this particular section, right? So here, like I say to my grade 12s, for each of the 8 religions that we study within religion studies, you need to know the unique features. And remember, when we speak about unique features, we speak about what is it about that particular religion that stands out, right? So what stands out of Christianity is the concept of the Holy Trinity, God manifesting himself as God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. That is unique to Christianity. Whereas with African traditional religion, we should know that the unique feature, or one of the unique features, is that the belief of intermediaries, also called ancestors. Okay, and so for each religion, 8 of them, right? The 3 Abrahamic ones, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. Then we have your Indian religions, Hinduism and Buddhism. And then you have also African traditional religion and also Taoism. Okay. And so these religions are the major religions that we study in religion studies. So you know the uniqueness of those religions, right? And what I like is that you can use old question papers to gather that information on how they want you to answer these questions. They are in relation to the question paper, the memos are also found on those websites. And so here you can even use those resources in order to increase your knowledge bank with regards to what is expected. Okay, then religious teachings will be found here as well. What are the teachings of these religions, right? And so what I would advise is that uniqueness and religious teaching should be studied together, right? You can make your mind maps of the 8 religions, and this is how you're going to plan it out. So for Islam, you'll write the unique features of Islam down with its religious teachings as well. Okay. Also a note here that these sorry guys, my screen is going black. These topics are not assessed in one question, right? So it may be that conceptual distinctions might be assessed in the same question too as the uniqueness of various religions. And so we can't expect that only conceptual distinctions will be assessed in question 2. We usually find the trend is that they combine three maximum topics basically in one question. We do find that the final topic in section B here does come on its own because it has a source with it usually. Also media coverage on public issues as well comes alone because there's also quite a lot of reading as well. But the first 3 topics, there will be a merge of the 3 topics as well. Okay. Then religious freedom, human rights and responsibilities is another topic that will come in paper 1. Right? Investigating media coverage on public issues that have religious implications, right? With the understanding of how to evaluate media coverage. And so with my adult learners right in June, I do encourage them to choose this topic because they are adults, they have more life experience. They can analyze a bit better than grade 12 learners who, don't have that kind of analytical skills. However, if this is your flavor, by all means, do it, right? Because this question is also quite application in nature. And so they will give you a source over here and then interpretation of the particular source and how it views religions and how it portrays religions as well. Investigating the factors influencing religious issues and also present findings. And so making conclusions will come in this particular topic. And then the topic on religion in areas of recent conflict will also be assessed. And here, grade 12s, I must note, or I must highlight to you, these can include conflicts within South Africa, Africa, and the world. And so in South Africa, there hasn't been a major conflict, right? But they can give you a conflict within a religion between, let's say, your Shias and your Sunni Muslims within South Africa, or your different Christian denominations. They can give you that kind of source as well. Within Africa, you need to know it's going to be that South Sudan, Northern Sudan conflict, Northern Ireland as well. And then you're going to have around the world, right, is going to be your Palestine-Israeli conflict, which is quite relevant right now. We do predict that it may not be assessed as well because of the current situation within um, the conflict, right? And so here, what can come up is your conflicts that are happening around the world. Okay, very important to be able to analyze the situation. So what is happening currently there? You need to know what is happening currently in that particular conflict. um, what role has religions play as part of the problem, and also in which ways has religion been part of the solution. Okay, so those are the topics that will be assessed in paper one, and you can get this particular document from the website of the Department of Basic Education. Okay, so yeah, just some background on the section A, right? So you have to revise your basic knowledge, right, through question papers, create those study notes on the major religions. And here I've stipulated the major religions that we deal with within religion studies. Also, again, right, how to answer these questions, right? So it says there, complete the following sentences by filling the missing word. Write only the word next to the question numbers over here. Can I also just say, grade 12s, make sure that you skip lines in your exam papers, right? It makes it easier for us as markers as well, right? Write neatly and legibly as well, right? And so this is an example of filling in the missing word within paper 1, section A. We also find choose the word in each list that does not match the rest here. And so they give you the example over there. Must give the reason in order for that full 2 marks to be assessed over there. And so if you look here at 1.3.2, Dharma, Karma, Kosher, and the Ahimsa sign, right? You know that kosher is going to be the odd one out over there. And the reason why is that the all three is going to belong to Buddhism, right? And so this is how you're going to approach this particular question in section A. Then we have match the column over there. I do not expect, I say to my grade 12s, you cannot get this wrong. It's right there, right? And so you need to have a strong basis in your basic knowledge in order to get this 5 marks over here. Okay. And then we also have your true and false over there, and you must give your reason if the answer is false, right? You must give your reason if the answer is false. So, for example, in 1.5.1, it says the syncretism is the science of the interpretation of text. And so we know this is false. You will write false. You get the 1 mark for that, and then the second mark will be the replacement of the word hermeneutics being the science of interpretation of text. It's either that, or you're going to say what syncretism is, which is the merging of more than 2 religions into one. Okay. We also have, like I said, in section A, short explanations of questions, right? And so we see here that in 1.6, in the context of religion, write 2 facts on each of the following, right? And so here any other concept can come up. And so again, I cannot stress this enough. For paper one, your concepts, you need to know them, right? And you need to know it in all of those topics, as we saw in the exam guidelines over there. Okay. Yeah, and so I just put this up as well to show you the unique features within Christianity, and how you can make your mind map over there, right? So the Holy Trinity, it's a monotheistic religion, an Abrahamic religion. The three main sects within Christianity is your Catholics, your Protestants, and your Eastern Orthodox Christians. Um, a practice within Christianity is baptism, which is a sign of receiving new life. Okay, that's section B. Right. And so I want to just touch on conceptual distinctions, which is the first topic within section B. And so usually it is in question one, right? But it also relates to question two in your paper one. Okay. So here learners must be able to memorize and recall meaning of concepts, highly advisable, as it also is found in section A, and it also strengthens the basic knowledge of the various religions. And so myth, parable, what does normative mean? Also, what's the difference between normative statements and descriptive statements, right? Religious identity as well, right? And so uniqueness of these various religions can also add to the knowledge bank for section A and in paper 2, right? Your religious teachings is also going to include the basic teachings of the various religions, and so usually these three topics are going to be merged into question one, right? And so here I give you a extract of a question paper, right, of question 2. And so here explaining the concept of uniqueness in the context of religion, discuss the importance, why is uniqueness within religion so important, right? 2.3 looks at what is the meaning of religious identity. So we find that in question 2, the concepts and understanding of these concepts in the context of religion is important. But we then also see what are the three common features of each of the following: the Eastern religions and your African religions. So yeah, I just want to make a distinction also between Eastern religions, right, and Middle Eastern religion. So your Eastern religions are going to relate um, to your Taoism, your Baha'i faith, right? Whereas your Middle Eastern religions are going to relate to your Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. Okay. Um, Name 4 similarities that exist within Abrahamic religions, right? What do we find? What is common within Abrahamic religions? In 2.6 over there, 3 facts about each of the following. And here we find in this particular question paper, they're quite specific. And so question 2 is for that learner who has a really strong knowledge basis of the content within religion studies, right? And so for each religion, right, they have a strong knowledge base of each of the 8 religions. And so we see here 3 facts about Hindus' view on karma, what is inyanga in African traditional religion, and what is baptism in in Christian religion as well. Okay, and so the second topic that we deal with within paper 1 is looking at religious freedom, human rights, and also responsibilities. And so I've hyperlinked the Department of Basic Education 2022 self-study guides. We're still using them because they are a great resource, right? And so these booklets have been developed by the Department of Basic Education, and it is a good resource to study from, right? You can also find them if you just Google DBE self-study guides, religion studies. It will pop up in your search engine, and you will find most of the most important topics will have a DBE booklet, right? Some of them don't, right? Because it's not a major topic, such as the uniqueness of various religions, right? However, this particular topic does have a DBE self-study guide. It's book 5 in them, right? And so you can find them on the website. print it, because there you will find also concepts within this topic that you can study from. No need to make basically your own notes, because it's a comprise no a what's the word, it's a summarized version of the particular topic over there. Okay, and so I would advise that learners who have strengths in recalling and applying their knowledge should attempt this particular question, right? And so I advise my grade 12s also to know how to choose your question. And so before you preparing for it, but the moment you get that question paper and it's a reading time, for example, right? How do I approach which question am I going to choose? Even though I may have made the decision beforehand, you know what, I'm going to do religious freedom, human rights, and responsibilities as a question, and religious conflict. But come that day, nerves set in, anxiety sets in, you forget the work, for example. How do I then effectively choose a question that I know I'm going to achieve the highest possible marks for? Right. And so you need to know yourself first of all. What are your strengths, right? And so if you do, get blank, or you forgot the work, for example, compose yourself, right? Compose yourself. Know that you have adequately prepared, right? That's the first part, preparing adequately, right? So when you do get that question paper, look at the mark allocation, right? Look at how much points they're asking you for. If it's a 6-mark question, they're asking you for 3 points only, because each point or each fact is awarded 2 marks, right? And so choose your questions wisely based on your knowledge base, and make a bit of a SWOT analysis there, right? On the side, okay, I can get 2 marks here, I can get 4 marks here. Tally it up. And so this is how you approach your question paper, also with intention and knowing that, you know what, I am going to pass religion studies as well. Okay. So what are the points to cover in this particular topic, right? So you're going to get a source within this particular topic, right? You're going to get a source, right? It's going to be on religious freedom, human rights, certain religious teachings, relationship between freedom and tolerance, right? How does religion support religious tolerance, right? And also looking at how does South Africa demonstrate religious freedom? How does our constitution, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Bill of Rights as well, how does South Africa promote religious freedom? Where do we find it in our constitution, etc.? But if you go to this booklet, I promise you it's spanned out quite simply. And if you this is your strong point, and you're able to answer questions in a more applicative way and manner, I would definitely agree and encourage you to choose this particular question. Right, and so here we have an example over there, right? They give you a bit of an extract, 12 marks, boom, 3.1. What measures has the South African government put in place to uphold the above declaration, right? So we know that we have freedom of religion within South Africa, right? You must mention the practicing. We are able to practice holy days in South Africa. There is a freedom of discrimination, right? No discrimination is allowed in South Africa, right? We are able to move freely. We are able to worship in public spaces as well. The opening of parliament as well. Different religions get that opportunity to open parliament as well, right? And then here explain the different ways in which this declaration is applied in Western and Eastern culture. Right, so here the comparison between Western cultures and Eastern cultures, and how they've approached the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And here by 3.4, let me just highlight also, with reference to any one religion, discuss its teachings that promote human rights. Right, very important question. We see it coming up, right? And so, like I say to my grade 12s, you having to study and prepare for 8 religions, But to cover your bases, you're going to choose a religion that you're going to specialize in. And so here, if your religion is Christianity, you're going to have to know, what does Christianity say about human rights? And so here you have to bring up certain teachings. You have to bring up certain Bible verses, um, certain the life and teachings of Jesus Christ as well, and how he handled certain human rights issues. For example, what does Christianity teach about loving thy neighbor as thy love thyself, right? And so that is a golden rule which we can apply to this question even here, right? So if I love for my neighbor what I love for myself, it teaches us that we cannot overstep other people's human rights in that way, right? So that is basically question 3, quite applicative, right? Quite broad in its questioning as well. And so if you do have this knowledge, a good knowledge base of the topic, but also know how to understand and apply your knowledge as well, this is the question you're going to go for. Then media coverage on public issues that has religious implications. This is also an application question over here. We do find that paper 1 is quite um, majority application as well. And so usually you almost always going to have an article or a text to derive these answers from. And so here I say, go to this question, grade 12, if you have done your SWOT analysis in your reading time. Okay, I'm not remembering all the concepts, or the concepts that came in question 2 wasn't the concepts that I went through. Go to this question, because it does have it's going to have the answers within the text, right? Maybe you're going to have questions that is going to have it's going to base it on the knowledge and the content of religion studies, but predominantly we find that our adult learners also do this question because it's quite applicative in nature. And so the main points you're going to cover in this particular topic is, how does the media report on these religious issues? And so here, unbiased and biased media reporting, you need to know the differences there, right? How to tell whether a report is biased to a particular religion, how to tell whether there is negative kind of connotations being used through word use as well. What are some of the factors that influence the media? And so here, what are the negative and the positive factors that is going to affect the media and how they portray certain religions within their newspaper articles, etc. Okay. Also looking at what can media do, or how can media neutralize the stereotyping of religions? And so here you need to have a kind of an understanding of what the media can do and have power over of as well. Remember, the media has a lot of power with regards to what people believe in, because we do kind of blindly follow the media. And so the media can have positive contributions and negative contributions to how religions are viewed within the public light. And so here is an example of that particular question. A nice long extract over here. Highlight words over here. Highlight main points in this particular question. Also, what we find is that learners regurgitate the text, right? The text that we give you, right? Read what the question is asking, right? Don't just take and just put a particular section of the text at an answer, right? What do we are the answers are there, but it's for you to take these answers out of the text over here, okay? And so again, just to show you how this question or how this topic is assessed, right? What are the reasons given by the SALRC for removing Christmas and Good Friday from the South African calendar? Year 4 marks, and the answers is in the particular text over there. What are two reasonable arguments can Christians put forward for keeping the holidays on the calendar? Again, a whole for a 14, a whole 20 marks here, basically deriving from the text over there. Okay. And then you might have a question such as 4.3 over here: investigate factors that could influence the media when they report on the religious issues. And so year grade 12s, you're going to go especially to the memorandum that is at your disposal, right? So these are quite broad questions. It can come up in every question paper as well. What is the influence of media when they do report on religious issues over there? What are the possible effects of stereotyping of religions, and what can media do to neutralize, right? And so I'm not sure what question paper is this, but again, if you do go and you are going to choose this particular topic, right, go to the memorandum, see how the Department of Education has or wants you to respond to the question, and follow suit. And this is how you're going to prepare adequately. And then the final topic, guys, before we end off, is religion in areas of recent conflict. This particular topic has a self-study guide on the department's website, and so it is book 3. And here we really have a beautiful booklet which will assist learners in preparation for this particular topic, right? I say to my grade 12s, you're going to choose this topic, right? I tell them, choose the topic, because it is quite limited in its questioning, right? And so again, the emphasis is a conflict within South Africa, Africa, and the world. Predominantly, we do find it's only in Africa and the world that is assessed. However, do prepare for South Africa, just to cover your bases as well. Yeah, right. And so here in this topic, you must master the analyzing of at least one conflict in Africa and the world, right? So if it's Darfur, Sudan, right, that's in Africa, and Israel and Palestine, which is your conflict of the world, right? Here also the concept of inter and intra-religious conflict is also important, right? Know the difference, right? That when we speak about the inter-religious conflict, it is between different religions, right? So the Israel and the Palestine conflict will be an inter-religious conflict, whereas a intra-religious conflict is going to be within the same religion. So, so for example, the Northern Ireland conflict, right? That is going to be an intra-religious conflict because it's between Christians with between Christianity and two different sects within Christianity over there. Okay, and so three things that or two things that we must also cover our bases for in this particular topic is: in what ways does religion form part of the problem? How has religion formed part of the problem within the conflict of the Northern Ireland conflict over there, right, between your Catholics and your Protestants? Then Darfur, Sudan as well. What has been the role of the religion in the problem over there, right? And then what can religions do to be part of the solution as well, right? And so know those two as well. And so I would highly advise to do this particular question because there is a kind of a limitation with regards to what could be assessed over here. Here they give you a example of a religious conflict over here, and this is extract that they've given you with regards to Uganda, right? And so again, see how they've answered, or how they've asked this particular question, right? Some contextuals, right? So here, question 5.1 for 2 marks, right? Taking it straight from the text over there. To what extent is this a religious conflict, right? Right. So looking at what makes this a religious conflict, right? There are two religions involved, for example, right? These two religions are fighting over land, for example, like in Israel and the Palestinian conflict over there. Give your reasons for your answer. How can religious organizations help in this conflict over here, right? Must know how can religions or religious organizations help with the solving of that particular conflict over there. So have interreligious dialogue between the two parties, right? Come to some form of ceasefire and agreement, and be able to negotiate as well on behalf of these two religions as well. Okay, then explain the following concepts and give one relevant example of each. Here it comes up again: intra-religious conflicts within the same religion, inter-religious conflicts between two different religions as well. Okay. And then 5.5 goes on here as well, with regards to how this particular question can be assessed in your paper one, right? Here, the organizations that represent the following religions in South Africa, and it's going to tie into the organizations of Brockmure, etc., which will be found in the topic of your religious organizations, freedom, human rights as well, right? And so how can these organizations, what are these organizations that in South Africa that can represent the following religions: Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, and Judaism as well? Then, do you think religious conflicts are common in Africa? Give reasons for your answers, right? And so here, a strong knowledge base of what conflicts have happened in Africa, right? And do you think they are common in Africa? And giving reasons for your answers over there. Yeah, and I think, yep, that is it. Again, your section B is going to be 100 marks, right? And so your 50 marks from paper section A, and then your two questions of section B, which will make you 100 marks, which brings your grand total to 150. And then finally, grade 12s, we are going to go to essay exams for your question papers over there. Also, News 24 religion studies, there will also be question papers with memorandums as well. And then also, when you go to the Departments of Basic Education's website, Book 10 also has a collation of question papers and memorandums that we can also print out and go and work through in preparation for paper one. And I think that should cover your bases and prepare you adequately for paper one. Inshallah, I make dua, Allah grant success to all of our matriculants rewriting religion studies, and also the other question papers and subjects as well. And good luck, grade 12s, and let's get them. And I can't wait to see those scripts when I do finally mark them in December, inshallah. Shukran so much, Kanita.
Shukran so much. I also just want to make a mention that here and there the connection wasn't the best, but it was
Uh,
actually, but we could, me sitting here and, also following through on the lesson, it wasn't too bad as well. But I want to encourage the students, if you were not too clear on maybe some of the points covered today, please drop me an email. Conita, which is QUANITA at vocfm.co.za. And I'm sure that Mrs. Adamson would be able to maybe just do a recap maybe when we have
yeah.
our next session with her, inshallah. But for the most part, the internet carried us through. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah, no. So,
technology, yeah.
yes, yeah. If perhaps you could maybe give us an overview, what are you looking to maybe cover in the next session?
Okay, so in the next session, I'm going to go through paper two topics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so some tips with regards to paper two and how to prepare adequately for paper two as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I'll do that.
Great stuff. Shukran once again to you,
Afwan,
Fatima
Afwan.
Adamson, who is a religion studies educator. She's also facilitator at Futures Academy SA Online High School. And also just a big thank you to our sponsors of this program, which is none other than the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. Do go and check them out online if you want to find out more. They are a proud sponsor of the Matric Online Revision Program. And for this year, 2024, as mentioned, sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. And if you, they are an accredited online platform where you can become a primary school or a high school educator like Miss Fatima Adamson is on a high school educator by studying in the privacy of your own home. But just that web address again, www.togi.ac.za or call 021 829 7015. Shukran once again to you, Mrs. Adamson, and all
Afwan,
the
Afwan,
best.
shukran so much.
And we look forward to the next session, inshallah.
Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Yes, so yeah, that is a wrap once again of our program today. And to note that you can also follow our social media platform if you're wanting to just get a bit more information as to what you can expect in our next session, inshallah, for tomorrow, that is. And if you are a tutor, you wanting to contribute, perhaps you want to volunteer your time and conduct a few sessions on this platform, you can also email me. My name Conita, and the email address is conita@vocfm.co.za. Yes, that is a wrap. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.